1 Samuel chapter 29. The Philistines gathered their whole army together at Aphek. Israel's army camped by the spring of water at Jezreel. The Philistine rulers marched out in groups of hundreds and thousands, and David and his men were marching with Achish behind the others. The commanders of the Philistines asked, "Why are these Hebrews here?" Achish replied, "That's David, isn't it? Wasn't he an officer of Zor, the king of Israel? He has already been with me for more than a year. I haven't found any fault in him. That's been true from the day he left Zor until now." But the Philistine commanders were angry with Achish. They said, "Send David back. Let him return to the town you gave him. He must not go with us into battle. If he does, he will turn against us during the fighting. In fact, he might even cut off the heads of our own men. What better way could he choose to win back his master's favor? Isn't David the one the Israelites sang about when they danced? They sang, 'Zor has killed thousands of men. David has killed tens of thousands.'" So Achish called David over to him. He said, "You have been faithful to me, and that's just as sure as the Lord is alive. I would be pleased to have you serve with me in the army. I haven't found any fault in you. That's been true from the day you came to me until today. But the Philistine rulers are not pleased to have you come along. So now go back home in peace. Don't do anything that would please the Philistine rulers." "But what have you done?" asked David. "What have you found against me from the day I came to you until now? Why can't I go and fight against your enemies? After all, you are my king and master." Achish answered, "You have been as pleasing to me as an angel of God, but the Philistine commanders have said, 'We don't want David to go up with us into battle. So get up early in the morning. Take with you the men who used to serve Zor. Leave as soon as the sun begins to come up.' So David and his men got up early in the morning, and they went back to the land of the Philistines. And the Philistines went up to Jezreel. 1 Samuel chapter 30. On the third day, David and his men arrived in Ziklag. The Amalekites had attacked the people of the Negev desert. They had also attacked Ziklag and burned it. They had captured the woman and everyone else in Ziklag. They had taken as prisoners young men and old men alike, but they didn't kill any of them. Instead, they carried them off as they went on their way. David and his men reached Ziklag. They saw that it had been destroyed by fire. They found out that their wives and the sons and daughters had been captured. So David and his men began to weep out loud. They wept until they couldn't weep anymore. David's two wives had been captured, and their names were Ahinoam from Jezreel and Abigail from Carmel. Abigail was Nabal's widow. David was great troubled. His men were even talking about killing him by throwing stones at him. All of them were very bitter because their sons and daughters had been taken away. But David was made strong by the Lord his God. And then David spoke to Abiathar, the priest, the son of Ahimelech. He said, "Bring me to the linen apron." Abiathar brought it to him. David asked the Lord for advice. He said, "Should I chase after the men who attacked Ziklag? If I do, will I catch up with them?" "Chase after them," the Lord answered. "You will certainly catch up with them. You will succeed in saving those who were captured." David and his 600 men came to the Bashur Valley. Some of them stayed behind there. That's because 200 of them were too tired to go across the valley. But David and the other 400 continued the chase. And David's men found an Egyptian in the field. They brought him to David. They gave him water to drink and food to eat. They gave him part of a cake of pressed figs. They also gave him 2 raisin cakes. After he ate them, he felt as good as new. That's because he hadn't eaten any food for 3 days and 3 nights. He hadn't drunk any water during the night either. David asked him, "Who do you belong to? Where do you come from?" The man said, "I'm from Egypt. I'm the slave of an Amalekite. My master deserted me when I became ill 3 days ago. We attacked the people in the Negev desert of the Kerethites. We attacked the territory that belongs to Judah. We attacked the people in the Negev desert of Caleb, and we burned Ziklag." David asked him, Can you lead me down to the man who attacked Ziklag?" He answered, "Make a promise to me in the name of God. Promise that you won't kill me. Promise that you won't hand me over to my master. Then I will take you down to them." He led David down to where the men were. They were scattered all over the countryside. They were eating and drinking and dancing wildly. That's because they had taken a large amount of goods from those they had attacked. They had taken from the land of the Philistines and from the people of Judah. David fought against them from sunset until the evening of the next day. None of them escaped except the 400 young men. They rode off on camels and got away. David got everything back that the Amalekites had taken. That included his 2 wives. Nothing was missing. Not one young person or old person or boy or girl was missing. None of the goods or anything else the Amalekites had taken was missing. David brought everything back. He brought back all the flocks and herds. His men drove them on ahead of the other livestock. They said, "Here's what David has captured." David came to 200 men who had been too tired to follow him. They had been left behind in the Bashur Valley. They came out to welcome David and the men with him. As David and his men approached, he asked them how they were. But some of them who had gone out with David were evil. They wanted to stir up trouble. They said, "The 200 men didn't go out into the battle with us, so we won't share with them the good we brought back. But each man can take his wife and children and go home." David replied, "No, my friends, you must not hold back their share of what the Lord has given us. He has kept us safe. He has handed over to us the men who attacked us. So no one will pay any attention to what you are saying. Each man who stayed with the supplies will receive the same share as each man who went down to the battle. Everyone's share will be the same." David made a law and a rule for Israel. It has been followed from that day until now. David reached Ziklag. He sent some of the goods to the elders of Judah. They were his friends. He said, "Here is a gift for you, each part of the things we took from the Lord's enemies." David sent some goods to the elders in Bethel, Ramoth, Negev, and Jether. He sent some to the elders in Eror, Shipmos, Eshtemoa, and Rakel. He sent some to the elders in the towns of the Bilach and Kenach. He sent some to the elders in Hormah, Bor, Ashan, Atak, and Hebron. He also sent some to the elders in all the other places where he and his men had wandered around.